Welcome to another edition of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we run down all the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days. I'm going to try and pick up the pace on this episode this week, to be honest. When we transitioned, back when we did the audio-only podcast, I was told to slow down. And so someone suggested try and picking it up. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. So I'm going to set a bit of a timer and try and limit myself to a certain amount on each story. We're going to get right into it, and I'm going to kick things off with the review that I promised I would post last week. It went live. This was on the Gorilla Mind energy drink, and I think to me, at least to me, it changed the way that I look at energy drinks. So if you haven't read the review, check it out. We went in full detail as to our experience, and I honestly and wholeheartedly thought it was going to go one of two ways. I thought with the quality formula that they put into that thing, the alpha-GPC, uridine, all the nootropic highlights that they threw into it, I suspected it was going to either taste bad and perform really well, or not perform that well and taste pretty good, but it was a blend of both. That thing doesn't taste spectacular, like it's not the best energy drink out there, but I would put it right up there with some of the better performers in the category. But more importantly, it is by far the most effective energy drink experience I've ever had. And I'm not trying to knock anybody else, because energy drinks work. It's plain and simple. You take them, they've got caffeine, you get a hit, you get going, you get moving. That's kind of the game of energy drinks. And there are a few out there that sort of mix in things like weight loss and thermogenics, stuff like that, which isn't bad, and they have their little aspect too, but there are very few that I had ever seen that had put enough ingredients to elevate or make that, I guess, to fit that, to complement the energy, the anytime energy of an energy drink. This does it in spectacular fashion. Like, this is an actual nootropic drink where you can feel the clarity, cognition, focus, the elevated mental aspects of it. It's it's next level. And it's hard because I've only ever judged energy drinks on how good they are in terms of taste. But this thing brought an element that you just, no longer do they all perform the same. This kind of set the standard, for me at least, on what an energy drink can do. And I really, really hope that this spawns or inspires other brands to go at it, to really push the boundaries, to show them what they can do. Sports nutrition brands have always brought together quality formulas, whether we're talking about pre-workout, protein, fat burners, you name it. And so I think that this kind of paved the way for others to feel comfortable that they can step things up, not just rely on a traditional set of ingredients, which some of the other brands obviously don't do that. Not all of them do that, but I think it's really opened up the possibilities of what can be done. And check out the review. You can grab it. I believe it's also meant to be hitting retailers soon too, which I think is a key part for Gorilla Mind Energy. But I've reached out for them for more details on that. Obviously, distribution availability is an absolutely huge, critical part of any energy drink, as it is an on-the-go RTD type thing. So you want to be able to pick it up on the go when you need it, not stocking up, or it's not as convenient if you stock up and keep it at home. Anyway, so we're going to go from that straight into the news of the week, starting with, and I want to keep it on the same topic, with Gorilla Mind. So Gorilla Mind is having one hell of a year. We all know this. They've introduced that energy drink, which not only has expanded its list of flavors faster than any energy drink, any newcomer to the energy drink space that I've ever seen, and given you an efficacious formula that is good in person as it is on paper. But they've introduced their first ever functional food. They welcomed a high-stim pre-workout and did several different flavors in partnership with ambassadors. They revamped their protein. They just revitalized their Sigma testosterone booster. Gorilla Mind is absolutely everywhere this year. And they've always had good quality supplements, but they're at it again. And last week they announced the Gorilla Hydration. And I don't need to explain what that is. It's a hydration supplement. Another category that's just seen a huge increase in popularity. Hydration competitors coming from all sorts of companies. Pills, powders, stick packs, drinks, you name it, it's out there. And Gorilla Mind has thrown its hat in the ring. Now, if you know Gorilla Mind for any supplement, you know that they give you more than your typical supplement competitor. They are known for highly effective formulas. They're known for stacking the crap out of their products, and Gorilla Hydration is no different. It was announced last week, available today. This is Monday. I think it was 3,000 milligrams of electrolytes, so combined 3,000 milligrams, which, yeah, if you know hydration, that's not a small amount by any stretch of the imagination. It's one of the biggest, and even more to the point, they haven't really tried to just throw in any electrolyte source. So they outline exactly all 6 essential electrolytes, and they even point out things like the fact that they've included iodine, which is a mineral found in sweat, and it's often overlooked. And they're not playing around there. They're not joking. It's not out of nowhere. You look at most electrolyte hydration supplements; they don't usually contain the all 6 that these guys have in there. So yeah, check out the formula. It's on the site. We would have had a post up today, I believe, about it becoming available. And I'm pretty sure the price is meant to be $45, $44.99 on a box of 30 stick packs. So it does come in that traditional hydration formula stick packs, 4 flavors, and there is a variety pack, but it's not exactly the variety pack of 30 stick packs in 4 different flavors. It is a giant variety pack when you get 1 box of 30 servings of each of the flavors, so you get 4 boxes pretty much. But it is discounted when you buy all 4, and then you can throw in coupon codes, including Derek, My Place More Dates, MPMD. They get you 10% off. So it should come down to somewhere in the 30s, which is pretty good for a premium hydration competitor. But there are plenty out there that go much lower. But either way, out there now, another great addition to the lineup from Gorilla Mind, and just piling it on into a year that they are showing just relentless activity, basically. So yeah, we'll shoot from that to the next story. We have what we're going to touch on: Murdered Out in the UK. Now, Murdered Out is a relatively, I wouldn't say relatively new, they're fairly new. They're not that old, but they're also not completely new, like launched recently. They're a growing brand. They started out with a single supplement. I think it was their pre-workout Insidious. They've expanded into other categories since then, including an amino cocktail. They've added a creatine, a couple other things in there as well. And now they've announced a product called Shook. So this is going to be another pre-workout. But the difference maker compared to the original Insidious is this is going to be a high stimulant pre-workout. So it's going to be aiming for more intense energy, focus and stuff like that. And that includes 400 milligrams of caffeine. So that's, I can't remember what the boost is. It's a jump up, obviously, from Insidious. But there are other things that are thrown in there to further flesh out the sensory side, the energy and focus. Several of the other components are still in there. I think they still had citrulline, beta-alanine, betaine. So there are some things that kind of keep it familiar to Insidious, but the key goal of this one is purely to have that higher stimulant alternative, which it tends to be the common thing to go these days. Back, I would know, maybe 10 years ago, even though that's a long time, but 10 years ago, most people had the pre-workout. It became an essential part. Then it was the stimulant-free pre-workout. It became normal to have a stim and then a stim-free. Now it's just graduated into this point where you have the stim-free, the regular mainstream competitor, even the premium pre-workout, and a high-stim pre-workout. And I think this, I wouldn't say popularized, but the team at Apollo Nutrition definitely normalized the hell out of this with their Powerhouse Hooligan pre-workout. Then you've got Assassin, then you've got Lionheart, then you've got Bare Knuckle. So it's become a big thing, and Murdered Out, as young as it is following that path and basically, yeah, doing what the common thing is in the pre-workout category and expanding out in that direction. The next story we're going to cover is, we've got two products we're going to highlight over in the functional space. The first one comes from Quest Nutrition, and this is specifically for its candy series. So this was all started, the candy family under Quest was started with the Quest Candy Bar. Now, if you haven't had this and you love delicious, you just love functional foods with a bit of protein, I suggest picking it up. The thing is ridiculously close to a Snickers bar, but it has protein. Now, it's not as high in protein as the signature Quest bar, but it is significantly better than your traditional candy bar. And so these things I sort of class as a protein treat, if that makes sense. So things that you would, if you want a bit of a craving killer or something just to treat yourself with that's not as bad as a candy bar, smash full of sugar, then this is where you want to go. And so the Quest candy series started with that, and it's grown since then. And now they've done something called the Quest, I'm trying to remember the exact name because it wasn't, chocolatey coated peanut candies. I wanted to call them M&Ms, but obviously that's not what they are. But that is kind of the purpose. They're very much like peanut M&Ms, where you got a crunchy peanut inside, chocolate, and you've got the colorful candy shell. The Quest chocolatey coated peanut candies. It's a mouthful of a title, but very similar concept, very similar format. So they got crunchy peanuts wrapped in chocolate and a colorful outer shell, but obviously coming from Quest Nutrition, they are much better for you. And even more importantly, this is the Quest candy series. So it's not supremely high in protein and ridiculously low in sugar. More of that protein treat, something to crush your cravings, give yourself a treat that's not too over the top. So in a 49-gram bag, so these come in bags like peanut M&Ms, you get 10 grams of protein, obviously going from the peanuts, and then there's also whey isolate added in there to help the protein. Then you got 13 grams of fat, 4 grams of net carbohydrates, with only a gram of that sugar, none of it added sugar, and 180 calories. Now, 180 calories for 10 grams of protein isn't, like I said, the Quest bar sits around 200 calories for 20 grams. So it's not as lean of a source of protein as that, but as an alternative to even something like the peanut M&Ms, it is a huge difference. I actually outlined the difference in our post. So basically, if you get the equivalent amount, so 49 grams of peanut M&Ms, you are looking at 5 grams of protein, so half the 10 grams in the Quest ones. A little bit more fat at 14, but a huge amount of carbohydrates at 29, with 24 grams of that sugar giving you 245 calories. So it's not a huge leap, I guess. Obviously, looking at 70 calories less compared to peanut M&Ms, but you get more protein, no added sugar, gram of sugar, down from 24. So that's a huge leap. And again, that's probably the best way to treat it, I would say, with things like this, is they're not supremely light sources of, high protein sources, but they're a great alternative to a ridiculously sugar-filled candy snack. And even something like the peanut M&Ms, where you've got something slightly similar format, slightly different macros. Obviously, it's not going to taste as much as 24 grams of sugar. Quest does do a pretty damn good job. It's not going to taste as great as the real thing, but I think they would have got pretty close. Like I said, the original Quest candy bar is very much like a Snickers bar. And try it for yourself and you won't be disappointed. The other functional food that we want to share details on is One Puffs. So One Puffs is from the maker of the One Bar, obviously, it's right in the name. That is One Brands, that's the company that makes it. And so for as long as I've known, that's all they've really done, the One Bar. They've had different versions of it over the years. I think they did a One Bar, like a coffee series. There was a crunch thing not that long ago. But bars are where they've stayed. Bar is sort of the format that they've stuck to, and rightfully so. If you do something as successful and as popular as the One Bar, it makes complete sense as to, why change it, basically. But with those different spin-off series, it's shown some experimentation. Similar to what Quest is, I don't know, since the last 4 years, they've exploded in diversity and adding a whole bunch of products, just like the peanut M&Ms like snack. And One Puffs is very much like that. So One Puffs is a big step away from your typical protein bar, the One Bar. It's a bag of basically crispy, crunchy puff snacks. Very similar to what we shared or talked about on a previous episode with JetFuel. So JetFuel entered the functional realm for the first time with a protein puffs. And that's kind of what this is here. So little puff balls, bite-sized puff balls, high in protein. So I've seen this type of product from a lot of others. It is very similar in that sense. But yeah, One Puffs, so you're packing, 30-gram bag, has 14 grams of protein, which is pretty damn good. As I said, with the M&M snack, you're looking at a 49-gram bag, and that gives you 10 grams of protein. This is a 30-gram snack that gives you 14 grams of protein, so it's, 40% less in size and 50% more protein practically. significantly leaner snack, which tends to be the case with these puff style snacks. And that comes with 4 to 5 grams of carbohydrates, varying on the flavor. 1 gram of that sugar, 8 fat, and 150 calories. So that's a pretty damn lean snack. If you scale that up to say, what's that work out at? It works out to around 20 grams of protein for 200 calories, somewhere in that realm, which is a pretty good, generally the benchmark for protein snacks. That's where I sort of measure them. If you're a little bit, 220 grams of protein for 200 calories. If you have 20 grams of protein, 250 calories. If you have, I don't know, 150 calories but 10 grams of protein, those more fall into my realm of protein treat, protein, even almost a meal sometimes if you get too high in calories. But that 200 calories, 20 grams of protein is what I would consider your average lean or expected nutrition balance, and that's what you get in the one puffs. So they're launching soon on Amazon. I'm not sure if they're available yet. We posted about them and they weren't there yet. They were going to be available for $2.90 a bag for a pack of 10, so that's like 29 bucks flat. And there's 2 flavors, spicy nacho and what's the other one? Cheddar. I think the other one was a cheese one. Shredding cheddar. So yeah, your typical, to be honest, your typical puff style snacks, flavors, and yeah, be available soon. You hit the website for more information. And yeah, should be showing up on the site any day now. Showing on Amazon. We got 2 more stories before we round this out. The second to last one was a pretty big news. Although, as some people mentioned, not too surprising in terms of what happened. So GAT, legacy sports nutrition brand, been available for a long, long time. Known for products like Testrol, testosterone booster Testrol. They even had, they've had many protein powders over the years. They're known for their pre-workout Nitroflex, which is sort of a pre-workout hybrid test booster. And obviously their fat burning series JetFuel. Now JetFuel has been around for a very long time. To the extent where way back in the day, they launched multiple versions of JetFuel. So it wasn't just the one. They created a whole series. And so now there is going to be a JetFuel Energy drink, which is basically going to put GAT into the energy drink space. But they did note that they're treating JetFuel more like a separate standalone brand, if that makes sense. It's not something you might notice too much on the outside. You just won't see GAT association as heavily with JetFuel Energy, which is the name of the energy drink, as opposed to something like a JetFuel Fat Burner, if that makes sense. I likened it a lot to, and this was the example I provided to the guys at GAT. I said, so kind of like Cellucor to C4. So years ago, C4 was a pre-workout from Cellucor, and then eventually they kind of separated and made it C4 almost a brand on its own. And that's kind of what I think they're going for here, where JetFuel becomes its own sort of brand, or at least JetFuel Energy, the energy drink does. And yeah, so we don't know too much about it. There was another picture that went live today, kind of outlining the name and the fact that it contains Cognatic, or Cognit IQ, I think is how you say it, which was previously called Neurofactor. Still the same thing, just they signed the exclusivity rights of the name Neurofactor to someone. So yeah, it basically, from what we know, it's going to be an energy drink that's all about energy and focus. I think the Cognatic inclusion makes it very obvious that it's going to be not your average drink, it's going to be quite advanced. It's not often you see premium ingredients thrown into a carbonated beverage like you have on this occasion. I'm guessing caffeine's in there as well. It's an energy drink. You wouldn't be having an energy drink without caffeine. That's the extent that we know. Also, there's zero sugar, which is fairly typical. When you get an energy drink from a sports nutrition brand, they care a lot more about nutrition and no sugar than, I guess, your average one. And that's going to be the case on this one. We expect the details to be coming thick and fast, because they teased it last week, confirming that JetFuel Energy, an energy drink, is coming soon. And then we got details on, the first look at the product today, including a picture, kind of how it's going to appear on shelves, the inclusion of Cognatic, and it's actually launching on the first day of September, which from today, Monday, is only 10 days away. So it's not going to be long before it becomes available. So I expect more details like the flavors, maybe even the macros, maybe even the formula to roll out as we go. And then details on where it's going to be available, which we'll all be trying to do our best to share so that no one misses out that wants to try it. Yeah, you can check that out on the site. We have, just type in JetFuel Energy and you get a closer look. But yes, this is indeed another sports nutrition brand, a big sports nutrition brand entering the world of energy drinks. I love it. I always enjoy seeing them. Some people mention this is a lot. There's a lot of brands doing this right now and it might be too much. I don't know. I enjoy seeing it. I see different takes. I enjoy the competition. I think it would be great if it could become as common as a pre-workout, where every brand has a pre-workout, every brand also has an energy drink, and you can just buy it, throw it in your order. It doesn't become too impactful on shipping, hopefully at some point, and then you can just sort of stash it with your supplements and have it for you on the go, and that becomes a better way to do it. And so, yeah, I mean, more the merrier, I always say, and I look forward to seeing the full formula, especially since they've got Cognatic in there. And again, I haven't seen the whole thing or even dosages of any of this, but I think the inclusion of Cognatic suggests that they aren't just going to be throwing something sloppy together here. I think this is going to be quite an advanced formula, at least in terms of an energy drink. Now, the last story we have to touch on is Universal Nutrition. A legendary, iconic sports supplement brand. We posted about this specific topic not that long ago. There was word that Universal, the brand Universal, so Universal Nutrition, I might be getting the wording wrong here, but Universal Nutrition is the company behind the Universal brand, and Animal, obviously Animal Pack is the hardcore supplement company. Now, that was the company behind it. So Universal Nutrition responsible for those two. So Universal brand was said to be changing. So we reached out, we found out that, yeah, it's undergoing quite a large change, becoming more of a sports nutrition, active nutrition lifestyle brand. I didn't know I didn't expect it to be anytime soon. I thought they were going to be phasing it out. I thought we would see bits and pieces here and there. So last week, the brand was available. The brand became available. That revamped Universal brand made it out. And it was about what you'd expect, but a lot more, I would say a lot more intriguing, a lot more detailed, a lot more tailored. I sort of thought we would get something like an Obvi, something like something more just similar to Universal, but with different twists. So this is quite an interesting brand. Not only is the look drastically different, which I guess makes sense as the targeting a wider variety of people, but the supplements are extremely intricate. So they've come out with 4 products. There's a somewhat of a pre-workout, a more mainstream level, lightly dosed pre-workout, and then there's an amino recover supplement with hydration in mind. And then I'm just going to go through them here. Yeah, and then they have the star of the thing is a product called a Functional Health Pack. And so there's 2 versions of this, hence why I'm saying 4 products. There is one for women and one for men. And the Functional Health Pack is actually made up of 2 separate formulas within itself, one for the morning and one for night. The morning is loaded with vitamins and minerals, and then they've got some Pico 2 in there and a couple of cognitive focus enhancing components, basically to start your day strong, get in your vitamins, get up, get mentally clear and cognitively ready. And then the other side of the formula is something you have at night, and that's basically to help you relax, unwind. It also has Pico 2 and some vitamins, but it's basically to be, I guess, to spread out those overall health benefits and the addition of the relaxing and unwinding for the later in the evening, more nighttime suited supplement. But it's a very complex selection of ingredients, a very unique approach, simplifying it down to a pre-workout and amino, then a daily vitamin health pack, split up to the morning and the night, and then also one for men, one for women. And it's even more interestingly is the pricing. So the pricing is expensive. Like I'm saying inexpensive, but it's not that expensive if you subscribe. Now this was something that I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but it's not something I haven't seen before, where they sort of encourage you to subscribe. And this is a lifestyle active nutrition brand that's trying to service a more mainstream audience. So this is a very fitting model. I can't remember the price. It's on the site. So just to give you an idea, the pre-workout is $49. Now the formula is fairly typical. It's not supremely loaded. There are other products out there in the category at $50 that are slightly better, but the subscription, if you subscribe, the first tip you get is $29. Now that is a more fitting price, a much more fitting price. And that leads more into what I was trying to say. They've designed this brand to encourage you to subscribe, to make it very easy to reach that average consumer, to hit that more active lifestyle consumer, not necessarily someone like myself who might want to jump from pre-workout to pre-workout every month. Here's about a new ingredient, tries that one. Here's about a new flavor, jumps back to that one. Not everyone's obviously like that. And some people might just want the responsibility taken away from them and just sort of go with something they like and enjoy, subscribe, receive it every month. And they've really created a damn good solution in there with the functional pack, the pre-workout, the amino, and the discount that you get on those subscriptions is pretty damn nice. So it's almost encouraging you to subscribe before buying one off just to try. And I said if it was a sports nutrition brand who was trying to compete with some of the other hardcore guys, even like Animal itself, it would seem out of place. But for what they're trying to achieve, I think it's a very well thought out plan, very well approached design. And it's, like I said, it's not just a rebrand with similar products. It's a whole different approach, whole different system, and a very intricate one at that, and very well thought out, very strategic. So you can check that out on the site. We have more details, basically everything available on the site, and a link to where you can then go and buy it, find out more information. But for the day's episode, that wraps it up. We will have more information on our Arnold collaboration later this week, including one of the first details of what the exhibitors are going to be getting. That might be a little hint. Yeah, stay tuned later this week for it, and I'll cover it on next week's episode. But yeah, once again, thank you for listening, and look forward to having you back next time.